Hello there. Welcome to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. I'm Andy. This is Hunter. We got Peter on the ones and twos. Are you feeling the heat in the summer? Are you maybe needing some meat in the summer? You feel a little ill, huh? Have you been sidelined from baseball and softball games because you have a temperature? Anything and everything you need to make your body feel better is at Fairway Food Stores. The Mecca of meats, the Guggenheim of groceries. They're our title sponsor yet again this week for like the 900th week in a row, raising their lead to about 900-0 over everybody else. But just as much as we love them, and I've got just as much as we love them, we also love all the sponsors that you can see showing up on your screen. Not sure if you guys can read my cup. It says, love more,
worry less. Ooh, I like that.
I'm drinking V8 Splash today, which you can get at Fairway Food Stores. Hunter, we're going to talk a little baseball, softball.
Yes, we are.
You're going to talk a little Fairfield. You traveled far away to the land of Burlington, which a healthy Andy is supposed to go to on Thursday night if everything works out. Tell me what happened in Burlington, Iowa.
Yeah, Fairfield heading over to Burlington. Obviously, the girls playing at Burlington High School, and then boys got the opportunity. The cool thing that they always do every year, which the games going to the games, they're always cool. At Community Field where the Bees play, the baseball team played there. We'll jump into a little bit of softball first. Obviously, for Fairfield softball, both of these games are actually really big games as it pertains to Southeast Conference standings, because Fairfield right up there at the top, and it was kind of a battle between them. Burlington and Fort Madison are all kind of in that little two-way race right now. So a couple wins would be pretty big as the standings stand, but. Fairfield softball splits with Burlington on the night. Saw a loss in game 1, 14-6, and then won game 2, 10-4. In that first game, it was a one-run game after 2 innings. And then, fun enough, I went over to Community Field after this second inning, and it was close. And then as soon as I got over there for baseball, they said if I heard a Fairfield fan say they got run ruled. So I'm like, what happened after I left? But kind of a lopsided loss for them in that first game. Lily Bergeron and Olivia Hollander both had a pair of hits and an RBI in that first game. Emma Scepter, Faith Jones, Lainey Norris, and Leah Helmick each had a hit as well. Jones finished with 2 RBIs, and Helmick and Norris each knocked in 1. In game 2, said they got the victory in this one. The Trojans were down 3-2 heading into the 5th inning. However, the Trojans erupted offensively in the middle to late innings, rattled off 8 runs between the 5th and 6th. Leah Helmick leads the way, 3 hits, 4 RBIs, big second game for her. She also pitched the first game. Olivia Hollander ended with a trio of hits as well. Emma Scepter and Faith Jones had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Lily Bergeron secured a pair of hits as well. So Fairfield now 9-8 in 9-8 overall, 5-3 in conference play, and I believe now they are in second. I think Fort Madison and if I remember right, I don't have it pulled up right here, but Fort Madison and Burlington I think are tied, and Fairfield's sitting in second right now. I think a game ahead, unless these teams were kind of different with how, because I know sometimes they don't put the games in, they don't have the games they don't correlate to their standings for some reason. The varsity bound sometimes.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job. Yeah, it looks like Fort Madison and Burlington both 4-4 tied 1 game behind Fairfield for second place.
So really good for Fairfield to get a win there to kind of keep that. You just hold down that second spot. Jumping over to the boys, as I mentioned, playing at Community Field where the Bees play. Always cool to go watch games there. It's kind of basically the closest thing outside of going to state baseball that you get for an MLB kind of feel. And obviously, this is probably the biggest games, of the season for Fairfield thus far. Taking on Burlington, obviously the two both undefeated in Southeast Conference action. And it's Burlington that walks away with a pair of wins. Now, 2 games ahead on the top of the board there. Fairfield obviously in second. But a tough one for Fairfield on the night. Some really good games, especially game 1. Second game kind of got away late. But 9-8 was the final in the first one, Burlington, and then 10-3 in that nightcap. But in game 1, Fairfield came out hot at the plate. Casey Miller got things going with an RBI double in the first inning. Dason Workman scored on that hit for a quick 1-0 lead. After Fairfield retired the Greyhounds in order, the Trojans poured on 4 more runs in the second. Boss Richardson singled to run. Dane Burkhart followed with a 2 RBI single, and Workman capped the frame off with a sacrifice fly to center. So, first 2 innings, Fairfield's up 5-0, looking like they might kind of run away with it. But Burlington responds. Obviously, top 2 teams in the league for a reason. And obviously, Burlington's been dangerous. I think they're averaging like 10 runs a game offensively. So they kind of got it going after that. Immediately answered, cut the Fairfield's deficit to 5-4 in the bottom of the second. Trojans responded in the third. Once again, Workman came through with a 2-out, 2 RBI single to extend that lead, the Trojan lead to 7-4. However, here comes Burlington once again. They ended up tying the game 7-7 with a 3-run third inning. Fairfield comes back, reclaims the lead in the fourth with when Aiden Westerkamp scored on a 2-out RBI single by Ethan Bisgard. But Burlington surges ahead for good in the fifth. The Greyhounds plated 2 more runs to take a 9-8 lead, and obviously, as I mentioned, that's how it ended. As Fairfield was held scoreless the rest of the way. Had a good opportunity late. I think it was Westerkamp. I think it was on third. I couldn't bring him home to get the tying run, so they ended up falling in that one in that first game. Let's see here. In game 2, followed kind of a similar script in the opening stages. Fairfield again jumped ahead early. Archer Kruger driven Luke Consul in the first, and then Westerkamp added an RBI in the third for a 2-0 lead after 3. But here comes Burlington once again. Caden Zog, who is Burlington's best hitter as it pertains to batting average, responded with a clutch 2-out, 2 RBI single in the bottom half of the third. And then from there, the momentum kind of shifted. Burlington took a 3-2 lead into the fourth. Burkhart briefly leveled the game with an RBI in the sixth, but the Greyhounds absolutely explode in the seventh. 7 runs, or actually in the sixth. 7 runs in the bottom half of that inning, and that pretty much sealed the deal. 10-3. Burlington walks away with the sweep over Fairfield. So Fairfield now 10-7 overall, 6-2 in SEC play. Obviously, Burlington now 8-0 in SEC play. And right now, it's like the midway point of the season as in conference action. But still plenty of games to be played. But someone's got to take out Burlington because they're kind of rolling right now.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's Burlington's to win. Yeah, it's exactly halfway through. So Burlington has half the games left now. That is by halfway through. Not everyone's played each other an even amount of time. So some teams played once, some teams played twice. But need for some teams to start taking shots at Burlington. The Washington Demons do play Burlington on Thursday. If you're watching this on Thursday, that means it's tonight. Hunter warned me, by the way, if my video cuts out when I do this, because last week it was doing it. What about that, Hunter? Am I looking good?
Talk one more time.
Am I looking good, Hunter?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
All right. On Monday night, Washington comes in to their own Washington High School field to play against Keokuk. Now, Washington had led in the majority of their SEC games throughout the first half of the league play, hadn't gotten a win, but as some of you saw on Southeast Iowa Live, I know Peter was there, a double blowout, 12-2-5 in game 1, 12-3 in game 2. The Washington Demons now have 2 SEC baseball wins. And in fact, that doubled their total wins. They only had 2 total wins. They had a lot of tough losses. And all of a sudden, they're in the midst They're only one game out of where Fort Madison is right now after this one. So, game one, Blaze Richardson 2 for 3 with a couple RBIs. Julian Parsons 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI. Luke Schiebel and Bowden Brown each had a couple of RBIs. Mitchell Galowski had an RBI. And then on the mound in that one, Ethan Peebler started it and went 3. Didn't give up a hit. And then Blaze Richardson came in for the couple innings in relief. Then game 2 comes around, and Keokuk did score first in this one, but the next 8 went to Washington. The first 2 at bats, so they scored 5 in the first in game 1, and they scored 8 over the first 2 in game 2. So they jumped on them right away. Game 2, Connor Layden 1 for 3 with a double and 2 RBIs. Parsons had a couple of RBIs. Richardson, Isaac Madrano, Schiebel, and Easton Rugg all knocked in 1. And Connor Layden gets the win on the mound, going 5 innings. So all of a sudden now, Washington is 2-6, which they're obviously, because Burlington's undefeated, that doesn't put you in a great spot to chase for the championship, but they can start knocking teams off here pretty soon, especially considering they've led a lot of the teams that are right ahead of them. So again, they play at Burlington, so maybe they'll catch fire. They actually did play on Tuesday night against Oskaloosa. Peter was at that one too. 2-2 in the bottom of the second, I believe. And the rain came, and the rain stopped all the fun. But the rain hasn't stopped any fun for the Washington softball team, Hunter. Played a couple of SEC games on Monday night. You want to guess whether they won or lost?
I'm going to go out on a lim and say they won.
They sure did, Hunter. You're double right, because it was a doubleheader. Washington over Keokuk 14-5 in game 1 and 6-3 in game 2. Keokuk did battle in wait a minute. Hold on. Let me Keokuk doesn't have their pitching stats in this first one. 6-3 in game 2 doesn't seem right. That might have been game 1.
I'm assuming that Ada Wood threw for Keokuk in the close game, because that's like, she's one of the better pitchers in the league. If you know who I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking when I saw 6-3. Now it froze up on me. But yeah, that's why when I saw 6-3 in game 2, I was like, I'm pretty sure Ava Wood probably threw game 1. She might have threw game 2. Either way, one game was closer. Keokuk does have that ace pitcher that can keep him into some of those games. But in the blowout game, Leighton Salazar 3 for 4 with a double and 3 RBIs. Usually she scores a bunch of runs. But this time she led the team in RBIs. Ella Griner, Colby Griner, a couple RBIs each. Colby Griner picks up the win in the circle. Halleck Cuddyback with a couple RBIs. And Mackenzie Messer with a couple of RBIs for the Demons. And then in game 2, Hunter, 2 RBIs each for Colby Griner, Mackenzie Messer, and Reagan Miller. So look at that freshman, Mackenzie Messer, with 4 RBIs total, in Bella Salazar pitched in game 2 for the Demons. Oh, Hunter's on the run. So to update you, and you're going to talk about Mount Pleasant here, but as far as the top of the SEC softball standings, that moves Washington to 8-0. Fairfield is the next closest team at 6-3. That doesn't mathematically make any sense. Let my brain do the math here. That's 9 games for Fairfield and only 8 for Washington. That can't be true. Oh, 5-3 for Fairfield then, right?
I think so.
5-3 for Fairfield. That makes way more sense. So, Washington 3. So let's see, they're 3 games up, and that means there's 8 games to play. So the magic number is like 5.5 to clinch the SEC title. So. Oh, there you go. Helps to have like a jumble of teams chasing you instead of just one, because then everybody beats each other. And speaking of everybody beating each other, well, I don't know if you're going to talk about baseball or softball first, but go ahead and talk to me about Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Mount Pleasant. We'll start with baseball because they've had a pretty nice start to the week. Monday picked up a couple big Southeast Conference wins over Fort Madison, 13-3 and 6-4, and then followed up with victory over at Davis County on Tuesday night, 11-3 in that one. So Mount Pleasant baseball starts the week with a trio of wins. In the opener against Fort Madison, Mount Pleasant wasted no time, get on the board, put up 3 runs in the first inning. Bloodhounds matched that total with 3 runs of their own over the first 2 innings, but that was all they would get. From there, Mount Pleasant ace Zach Newton took control of the game after allowing 3 early hits. Fort Madison scored or had 3 hits with 3 runs in that first in that span of them scoring there. But Newton the rest of the way, and that Panther defense completely shut the door, retired the next 12 batters in order, and finished with 3 strikeouts in that win. The Panthers ended up breaking things open in that 5th inning. Cooper Coleman had a 2-run double during a 5-run outburst to kind of highlight that spurt there. Peyton Walker, Newton each recorded hits, with Newton adding an RBI. Grayson Lowry and Griffin Jones both chipped in a hit and 3 RBIs apiece. So big win there to get things started in the Southeast Conference battle. In game 2, Mount Pleasant jumped ahead 1-0 in the first, but Fort Madison answered with a pair in the second to take a brief lead. The Panthers didn't regain control until the 6th inning when they scored 3 runs to go up for pretty much for good. And then they ended up adding an insurance run in the 7th. J.C. Sitar and Grayson Lowry drove in some key runs during the comeback. Sitar led the offense on the day in that second game, I guess, with 3 hits and 2 RBIs. Lowry added an RBI as well, and then Brayton Hudson contributed 2 hits in the win. And then obviously, Panthers stayed hot the next day, Tuesday, against Davis County. Built a 3-1 lead through 3 innings. Davis County closed the gap to 4-3 in the 4th, but Mount Pleasant responds with a late offensive surge, scoring 7 combined runs in the 5th and 6th innings to put the game out of reach. Interestingly, this is kind of interesting. Walker, Peyton Walker, and Cooper Coleman, didn't register a hit in the win, but still combined for 5 RBIs. 3 from Walker and 2 from Coleman. Brayton Hudson and Griffin Jones each had 3 hits. Sitar and Brody Clark had a hit apiece. And on the mound, Sitar takes the win, tossed 4 solid innings, just 2 hits allowed and 3 strikeouts. Mount Pleasant now 10-7 and 5-3 in the SEC is kind of crazy because just like that, Mount Pleasant's kind of in the hunt right there in that battle for second with Fairfield after the pair of wins over Fort Madison. So a big start to the week for Mount Pleasant baseball. Mount Pleasant softball. Go ahead.
Real quick on the baseball thing. Yeah, not only does Mount Pleasant was 3 games behind Fairfield. Well, 3 games behind both, but now 3 games behind Fairfield and being swept by Fairfield earlier. Now they play Fairfield on Thursday. So if the Panthers can pull off that one, they would be right back tied with the Trojans.
Exactly. Going into some Mount Pleasant Panther softball, obviously they just played on Monday night against Fort Madison as well. And the Panthers grabbed their second Southeast Conference victory in the doubleheader, split with the Bloodhounds on the night. Ended up dropping the first game 9-6, but bounced back with a nice 11-9 victory in the second. In game 1, Peyton Ensminger leads the offense with 2 hits and 3 RBIs. Izzy Sloat and Bella Dodds also recorded 2 hits. Keegan Coleman added another hit and RBI. Jolyn Martin, Shayla Cook, and Lila Cook each chipped in a hit as well. Game 2 was basically an offensive, for as close as it was an offensive surge, or a nice offensive showcase for the Panthers. 17 hits they racked up in this one. Still only won by 3. I was kind of surprised about that. But Sage Burchett, big game for her. 4 hits and 3 RBIs. Lila Cook went hitless but drove in 3 runs. Jolyn Martin, Lindsey Striegel each had 3 hits and an RBI. Keegan Coleman, Parker Coleman, Izzy Sloat, 2 hits apiece, with both the Colemans adding RBIs. And then Peyton Ensminger had a single in that one as well. But Mount Pleasant now 4-15 on the season, 2-6 in the SEC. A lot of work to do to kind of get to the upper echelon. I mean, not a lot of work. I mean, they just need 2 wins. So they winning, taking on Fairfield, get a couple wins there, and they're right in the thick of that, basically that fight for second up there with just a pair of wins Thursday night. So, Mount Pleasant looking to kind of have a strong second half of Southeast Conference play here. Yeah,
for sure. And you mentioned, that because it's jumbled up, Mount Pleasant can get alive. If they would have taken both from Keokuk or both from Fort Masson, they'd really be in business there. But split with both, fighting with those two teams for positioning, and you're going to be fighting for positioning with your family in front of the TV, because you will not want to miss the B block of Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. We'll be back with small school baseball and softball.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouthwatering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
At WCHC, our goal is to take great care of our patients and our staff.
We are able to approach you, take care of your issues, but also give you a path, as far as referrals or treating you right then and there.
Our role in the community is taking care of something that matters to everyone. It's their family and their health.
More than you expect for your health care.
Well, hello there, friends, family, watchers, listeners, readers. Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway. We're going to talk about some small school baseball and softball. And until Tuesday night, the rain had not affected anything, which means we got a lot of games that we have put in that newspaper. Hunter, you get the weekend. I'll take the weekdays.
Yeah, let's just run through some scores here, starting with some small school baseball. A lot of games from last Thursday over the weekend. I'm just going to run through them all. Highland 8-7. Hillcrest Academy edges Winfield Mount Union 3-2. Hillcrest Academy 13-0 over Keokuk. Winfield Mount Union 10-1 over Lone Tree. Pekin 22-5 over Danville. Highland 13-3 over Wapello. Keota 4-3 over BGM. New London 9-8 over West Burlington. New London 11-10 over Cedar Rapids, Washington. New London getting some big wins here late in the season.
I agree with that. They're a sneaky strong team, in my opinion.
And Mediapolis is ranked. Well, I'll get to that game, but I'll just wait on that one. But anyway, Burlington 7, New London 6. So look at that. They're playing close with the Southeast Conference leaders there. Mm-hmm. West Liberty 3, Mid Prairie 2. A couple of big losses for Mid Prairie baseball this week. St. Albert 6, Mid Prairie 3, Louisa Muscatine 5, Hillcrest Academy 3, Central Lee 8, Hillcrest Academy 7, Central Lee 3, Van Buren County 2. Mediapolis 5, New London 4. That's the second time this season New London's lost to Mediapolis by 1 run, and Mediapolis is ranked, I believe, number 6 or 7 right now in Class 2A. Mediapolis 10, Van Buren County 4. So that's the weekend late last week into the weekend baseball roundup. Jumping over to some softball. Hillcrest Academy 15, Belle Plaine 5, Keota 9, Pekin 5, Highland 9, Pekin 7, Pekin 6, Columbus 3, Cardinal 9, Davis County 6, Hillcrest Academy 7, Danville 4, Highland 3, Wapello 2, Columbus 5, Iowa Valley 4, West Liberty 7, Mid Prairie 3, Wapello 10, Waco nothing, Danville 15, Waco nothing, Louisa Muscatine 13, Hillcrest Academy 5. Obviously, Louisa Muscatine ranked number 2 in Class 1A in softball. BGM 5, Keota 4. Louisa Muscatine 10, Columbus nothing. Central City 12, Pekin 2, West Branch 13, Columbus 6. Central Lee 5, Van Buren County 4. Mediapolis 12, Van Buren County 4. Mediapolis 1, New London 0. West Burlington Notre Dame 11, New London 2. Holy Trinity Catholic 4. Hillcrest Academy 3. So there's all your softball scores from last weekend to the weekend as well. So a lot of games.
There you go. Well, let me, by the way, throw in a few more softball scores. Just to give a shout out to the Cardinal Comets, got second at the Fairfield softball tournament this weekend, lost to Albia, undefeated Albia, but in that run, they beat a ranked Central Lee team. They finished higher than a ranked, not only Central Lee, but a ranked Sheraton team from their own conference. Big run for Cardinal. The rest of the teams didn't do fantastic. We had a 6th place out of Van Buren County, 7th place out of Fairfield, and an 8th place out of Mount Pleasant. But shout out McLean Hickenbottom for Cardinal, actually no-hit Fairfield in first round game and shut down centrally in the second game.
Wow.
Cardinal hit a couple home runs in the tournament. Really fun team to watch. And then stinking Albia. Albia's got some big time pitchers.
State last 2 years they've been semifinalist state tournament or quarterfinals.
No, they got knocked out by Albia and Sheraton have been the top 2 in that conference, and they've knocked each other out.
I was gonna say, didn't they knock each other out? And then Davis County and Albia or Davis County and Sheraton played at state or something like that.
Maybe 2 years ago, maybe Davis County played against Albia State. I don't know. I remember
there was one time that 2 years ago or a year ago that it was there could have been 4 South Central Conference teams in the postseason.
Yeah,
because because Eddyville Blakesburg's in that, and they they got 3rd last year. So
exactly. The South the Centerville's good. The South Central Conference is very good at softball, and Cardinal, I didn't think they would be as good as they are right now. They're a legitimate threat in 2A. But I'll run through some baseball. I'm going to go conference by conference because I had to pull it up on my phone. I don't like people playing on my phone. What's that from, Hunter?
I don't know.
When keeping it real goes wrong. Winfield, Mount Union, Columbus drops. So this is Monday. Monday baseball. Winfield, Mount Union, Columbus drops 1 to Mediapolis 11-1. Highland drops 1 to Notre Dame 14-1. By the way, these are crossover games. Crossover Monday in the Super Conference, and in a classic, New London 5. Hillcrest Academy 4. And then on Tuesday night, games that got in, New London holds on to beat Winfield Mount Union Columbus 6-4. That's also a crossover. Interesting. And Hillcrest Academy over Pekin 2-0. Now looking to see if we got a South score on Tuesday when they're not crossover games. See if Van Buren County played. No. That ruined my whole momentum right there. Van Buren County play on Monday. What's up, Van Buren County? They're just, they won at the Field of Dreams the other day. Decided not to play on Monday and Tuesday. In our other conferences, in the sport of baseball, why don't we jump into the South Central, Hunter? The Cardinal Comets beat Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont 11-1 in Game 1, 5-0 in Game 2. That is a 16-1 cumulative total. On Monday night in SCC play, Cardinal Comets looking pretty darn good, and then they did not play on Tuesday in the River Valley South, where the Mid Prairie Golden Hawks reside. Mid Prairie over Wilton 4-1 and 5-0 on Monday night's River Valley doubleheader night, and they didn't play on Tuesday. So why don't we look into the Sickle, the South Iowa Cedar League, where the Keota Eagles play, and they were defeated on a heartbreaker 6-5 against Belle Plaine on Monday, and on Tuesday they didn't play. So there's your baseball from the weekdays. While I pull up softball, you have any thoughts on area baseball right now, Hunter?
Just the fact that I feel like we have a lot of dangerous teams. No one's really that Correct. We cover particularly ranked. But I think about I don't know, Connor's waking up. I think about a Mid Prairie. They've played. Yep. They're always battle tested, and they always play good teams really close, and they have state experience still. But And then even mentioned New London being like kind of dangerous, like playing with some. They beat Notre Dame, who's was nearly a state or was a state team last year. So, just some things like that. I think there's like a couple teams to keep your eye out for. Hillcrest Academy, I feel like is pretty dangerous as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just to add on to that, I would say that when it comes to the end of the year, the teams that I think have not that are favorites, but that have a real chance to make a state that might be in that like sub-state semifinal, sub-state final game: Mid Prairie, New London, Cardinal, Van Buren County, Hillcrest, Pekin. Columbus WMU, not too bad. We saw them challenge New London. A lot of teams with some potential in the small school realm. Now let me tell you about some softball, Hunter. In the Southeast Iowa Super Conference North Division, which is also they play against South Division because it's crossover Monday in softball. Van Buren County falls to Wapello 7-5 at Mildred and Eddy over there. Hillcrest Academy in a wild one beats New London 11-7. Wild. Highland, who's been playing very good, tough Holy Trinity team. They almost beat them 7-5. And then speaking of tough teams, number 15 Central Lee, who I just saw in the Fairfield tournament, only beats Pekin 3-1. Ooh. Pekin is not a team that has been able to keep teams off the scoreboard thus far. That might be a dangerous team if they can keep their opponents out. Well, they got a good offense, especially the top of that offense. And then on Tuesday in the Super Duper Conference, Hillcrest Academy 9, Pekin 7, their second absolute clash and classic of the year. And then Columbus drops a tough pitchers duel 1-0 to Wapello. That's in the North, Hunter. And nothing in the South for Tuesday. I'm talking slow. Why am I talking slow, Hunter? Because I'm bringing up the other scores on my phone. I don't like people playing on my phone. What's that from, Hunter?
I don't remember what you just said.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Wait, keeping it real goes wrong?
When keeping it real goes wrong. Dave Chappelle.
Keeping it real goes wrong. Ask me again here in about 2 minutes.
Got it. Cardinal fell in South Central Conference play in softball 5-1 on Monday. Hunter, that's tough. What else happened on Monday? In the Sickle, Hunter. The Sickle, where are we looking at right now, Hunter? The Sickle, South Iowa Cedar. Keota beats Belle Plaine 9-1. Keota softball. Where's this Keota softball team coming from, Hunter?
I know.
Keota softball.
They were, they've been young the past few seasons. Been pretty young, and now I feel like they're, they've been playing really good.
They almost beat Sigourney the other day. Very dangerous team all of a sudden over there. Keota softball. Shout out to those guys. And in the River Valley South on Monday night, Mid Prairie falls to 10th ranked Wilton 8-3. That's all I got on my phone. I don't like people playing on my phone. What's that from, Hunter?
When keeping it real goes wrong.
Correct. And we'll never go wrong on this show in the C Block, which is coming up after these commercial breaks. Stick with us. I'm going to give out a special award to somebody on this planet. I'm going to narrow it down to somebody living on this planet right now when we get back. We'll see after the commercials.
Might be in Indiana.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Bring the kids, share the memories, celebrate 75 years of traditions at the Midwest Old Threshers Reunion. Relive the magic of steam engines, antique cars, and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Whether it's your first visit or a cherished tradition, you'll enjoy the delicious foods, the thrill of an Old West shootout, and the excitement of nightly grandstand entertainment. For 75 years, this has been the place where memories are made at the 2025 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 28th through September 1st in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Hello, welcome back. Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus here on the Southeast Iowa Live Video Network. Reminder, Washington Demon baseball and softball fans, we have live coverage of baseball and softball home games. Not technically all of them because sometimes they're being played at home at the same time, but every night there's a home game on this channel. Peter makes sure of it. Shout out Fairway Food Stores. Shout out Hunter. Shout out Peter. We're going to give a special shout out and a special award. Hunter, are you excited to find out? I'm going to create a new award.
Share it.
I'm going to create the Enforcer of the Week, presented by the Southeast Iowa Union. And we're going to do this basically every week, probably every week I remember it. My Enforcer of the Week is Sophie Cunningham of the Indiana Fever. Shout out. You now have fans for life for that hard foul on the girl from Connecticut.
Lacey Sheldon.
Bottom feeder, Connecticut.
I thought Lacey Sheldon was from Ohio State or Nebraska. I think it's Ohio State she's from.
She's from Ohio State, I think. But actually, she beefed with the Hawkeyes when she was in school, didn't she? She had a little... Anyway, but they play for the Connecticut Sun is what I meant. Bottom feeder, Connecticut. Yeah, have fun. I sure wish there was a consolation bracket so we could watch some Connecticut Sun playoff action, but there's not. Only like 85% of the teams get in, ladies. So shout out award Sophie Cunningham, teammate of Caitlin Clark. Hunter, you got any awards to hand out?
Shout out Caitlin Clark for being awesome.
Shout out to Caitlin Clark for being awesome. Tell you what I like about Sophie Cunningham?
What's that?
Yeah. I like that she keeps it real. Oh, I can't do the Wu-Tang. I was trying to do more when keeping it real goes wrong. Great segment on a classic show.
You know what they say, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with.
That's right. And you know what? They got a lot of run on that show. Great show, one of the best shows. I might flip that on while I'm finishing out my stuff today. As long as the kids don't come in here. All right. Well, I've got the coughs. We got to go. We will see you guys. I'll say it for Hunter since he's muted. Next week, see ya on the fields.